I don't know what other volunteers are like, but sometimes when we've had several cases in a row which tend to be a bit discouraging, I find myself getting a bit discouraged. And I came across a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. I was to read it if I could. He says, "It's the action, not the fruit of the action, that's important. You have to do the right thing. It may not be in your power, may not be in your time that there'll be any fruit, but that doesn't mean you stop doing the right thing. You may never know what results come from your action, but if you do nothing, there will be no result."
I think that the volunteers who work with Youth Justice are doing a wonderful service to the community.
The volunteers are incredibly caring people.
It's trying to make an impact in a very small way, but a very small change can make a big impact in the end.
I'm happy to be a volunteer because if I was in the parent situation of the youth, I'd like to think there was a committee out there to help me as well.
Eventually, maybe kids won't get into trouble, but as long as they do, and I hope that the communities and other organizations step up to help them.
I never really thought when I first walked in and to talk with them in the first place, I really was, I think, more nervous than anything. I was more ashamed the first time I walked in to say this is why I'm here. And I guess I found them very caring and understanding. They weren't there to judge me. They weren't there to sit there and prosecute me. They were there just to help me.
When I found out my son was first in trouble, I, as a parent, was shocked and didn't know what was going to happen. So when the Youth Justice Program was offered to my son, it was a big relief to know that this was an alternative that was going to be a positive in his life.
The contribution that the Youth Justice members make, again, is invaluable because they're investing their time as a volunteer with these youth and showing to them that there are people in the community that care and that would like to give them a second chance and have them go through certain conditions that are going to enable them to move on in a positive way.
It's not only the family that brings up the children, it's the community as well. So if the individual can see they're not living in a vacuum, you know, their actions affect not just them, the parents, the community at large. It's better for everybody rather than everybody just living in separate cubicles, as it were. You know, it brings more of a community spirit back.
Our society cannot run on a criminal justice system based on law and order. Our society has to be based on caring, and caring starts at a young age. Children need to be known in their block that they live in, their community that they live in. They cannot be anonymous.
I think we play an important role. We're grassroots involvement with the young person's life, and if the community's absent, then the young person's going to have to find his own way. The young person has family to work with, but if the family's busy, then sometimes the community needs to step up, and that's what I feel we're trying to do.
Caring adults in our community, I feel after 29 years of policing, is the most crucial part of keeping our community safe. It's those caring adults that have the informal social control that create public safety.
In today's context, where there are people who say that we should be harder on youngsters, I couldn't disagree more. I think that all sorts of young people make mistakes, and that the youth justice committees and the society and the panels and all the volunteers that do the work are living proof that if we give youngsters a second chance, the overwhelming majority of them are only too glad to take that second opportunity and run with it.
It's so easy for young people to be led astray. And Youth Justice volunteers give the young people a chance, a second chance, to do something good. to give back to their community and to learn from their past behavior.
Who among us hasn't made a mistake at some point in their life, especially when we're young?
Well, kids do get mixed up with the wrong crowd sometimes. I mean, a lot of kids, unfortunately, don't have the benefit of strong parenting, but some do, and yet they manage to find themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time anyway.
I'm sure when a youngster is standing in Sears and a friend says, let's steal that, they don't think, 10 years from now I'm going to be...
Okay, they've made a mistake, but we're here to help them make sure that, okay, the mistake is there, but there's a way out to resolve it, and hopefully this won't be something that's going to hang over them and affect them for the rest of their life.
Like right now, I'm basically finishing my bachelor in criminal justice, working towards becoming a police officer here in Calgary. But as well, I've been on the other end of the spectrum. I've been that young offender who made that bad decision, and and had a full turnaround that really proves, my confidence in the system as well, gives me the opportunity to give back once again.
I think as an outsider, you don't see how excited the kids get when they do reach their goals and are able to follow through on the program and to not get a criminal record, and how it helps their future.
Youth justice is a great option for kids. Not every case needs to go to court or should go to court, but they do need to be accountable for their actions. And by going through youth justice, it gives them the option to make amends and to change their lives.
The circumstances by which a young person comes into this program may not be ideal, but the meaningful consequences that are developed by the volunteers often turn it into a very positive experience.
The program's excellent. They tailor the response and the punishments, so to speak, to the crime and the individual aspect, taking into account a lot of variables.
You have to be a little more creative. You've got to drill down with the kids. What are their interests? What are they like in school? What are their friends like? What's their family life like?
We work together on these panels to choose sanctions for them to do that suit the youth.
They assigned me something that they knew would help me in the areas that I needed it. They really pinpointed my strengths and my weaknesses.
There's community service, but really, if they're just painting a fence, what are they going to learn? I mean, it's really, from my perspective, it's a case of trying to get them to look at what they've got going for them and maybe highlight to them.
What consequences can we set out for the youngster that will give them an opportunity to think about what they've done and where they're going?
I'm very glad that's the way I was put through. They really did pinpoint my skills and what my punishments were. They didn't just assign me something that they thought would be like harsh labor.
If they're musically talented, really trying to encourage that, rather than going out and shoplifting, trying to say, look, you're good at the piano, you're good at the violin, there may be something down that road for you, later on in life, rather than getting involved in, the criminal justice system.
Youth Justice Committee volunteers are truly unique. They come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different experiences, but the one thread that runs constant through all these volunteers is their dedication, their constant dedication. While you may think that individually you're making a small contribution, together we are making such a big difference.
I have so many stories about volunteers that have made an impact in their community and people that have called my office and are very grateful for the time and the effort that the Youth Justice Committees pour into their son or daughter's life.
It's many volunteers very committed to youth that are making this program work.
I've been touched by the compassion and the caring of all the people involved in the society. It's one of the best volunteer opportunities that I've ever had, and I've done lots of them.
We have a bit of a hiccup right now in Calgary with the gang violence and the drug violence is taking over the front page of our papers these days, but it's people like you, the youth justice volunteers, who are stepping forward to make a difference in our city.
Whether you started 10 years ago or you just started, the service that you provide is invaluable and is very much appreciated by the department. The sacrifice of your time and your energy and investing in the youth that are involved with us is very much something that will last a lifetime.
My daughter is a changed person because of you, and I'm really grateful we had the opportunity to go through this and not a court system, and she had a second chance. She makes a lot better choices now, and she's really aware of those choices and her effect on others. Much more confident individual, and I'm so grateful. Thank you very much.
I really believe this helps people, and I believe you've helped people, and all the people there who have helped me, I really want to say thank you.